Welcome back once again, everyone. A very good afternoon to you. The time is 3:32, which means it's time for us to kick things off from our final panel for the day. And like Suresh correctly mentioned, we're about to talk about something really, really important. So the topic for this panel discussion is Ideal Appearance and Hollywood Smiles, Truths and Myths Uncovered. So mind you that this discussion will involve both languages, Sinhala and English, because this is something that concerns everyone, I'd like to think. Ideal smiles and also a good skin, is it considered important when the broader general context is concerned? So if you want to ask questions, if you want to interact with the panelists that we have two renowned doctors who are very much specialized in their own areas of interest. So I'd like to introduce the two panelists we have for this evening. First, we have Dr. Lakmal Kulasekara. He is a consultant in restorative dentistry and also a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Dental Sciences, University of Sri Jawaharlal. Welcome to the discussion, Doctor. Lovely having you here. And the second panelist for the day, Dr. Dulini Liyanagama. She looks into all things skin. She's a consultant dermatologist and also works at the teaching hospital in Kandy. Welcome to the discussion, Doctor. So, ideal appearance and Hollywood smiles. Quite an interesting topic. I was baffled when we initially saw the topic and we were discussing how to approach this. Now, if you have watched a lot of movies, right, in Hollywood and even Bollywood, right, you see a lot of fixed figures and accepted body shapes, plus smiles, plus teeth to skin. Everything's very much glorified. So some might come to think that that is the normalcy. ඒක තමයි ඇත්තටම normal day කියන එක සමාජගත වෙන්න පුළුවන්. That can happen. So Dr. Lakmal, I'll give my first question to you, which is, what exactly is a Hollywood smile?
Hollywood smile is basically what you see in the Hollywood screens, right? So if you go to a Hollywood movie, you will be astonished by the ideal smile that these actors and actresses have. Quite uniform appearance that they have. The pearly white teeth that they have. I mean, unimaginable level of evenness, right? So, I mean, that is what, and also it kinds of portraits dominance to the audience as well. So this is what, I mean, put in very simple terms, this is what Hollywood smile is. So, I mean, but, so when we see these smiles and these set of teeth, what actually happens is the general public get carried away. They might think, all right, what is this? Do they have special genes? Is it genetics? Not really. It is good dentistry. So, I mean, the thing about this Hollywood smile, having a Hollywood smile, dreaming of a Hollywood smile, there's a fine line, because if all of us try to achieve that Hollywood smile, it is good for the dental surgeon, dentist, but not necessarily for the person that is going to have the Hollywood smile. We can talk about it, but this is basically what Hollywood smile is. And to give an introduction to this conversation, I would say the smile that you have should comply with your face, with your personality, and it is unique to you. If you try to get that Hollywood smile that you see on the screen, the dominant smile, it might not necessarily suit your personality, your face. So, I mean, now the current trend is to go for a more customized approach, to get a more customized smile. But anyway, whether it is a customized kind of a Hollywood smile or a traditional kind of Hollywood smile, there's a way to get it done properly. We can discuss about it throughout this conversation.
I think that's a fantastic premise to the conversation, Doctor. Everyone has their own set of unique sets of features, right, in their bodies. It can be your smile, it can be your skin, it can be your height. So I think that's a great point to start, Doctor. Everyone's unique, so you don't have to be going behind all of the Hollywood smiles, plus whatever you see on social media. You don't have to do that because you can be the best version of yourself whilst having what you have. So, Dr. Dulini, now, when it comes to you, I'd ask you the same question. What is considered ideal beauty? What is considered ideal skin in your world?
Okay, that's a tough question anyways. So the gross answer is there's no ideal beauty. There's no ideal beauty standards. They all are made out. We have made up ideal beauty standards. So as you ask this question, I will just go through some beauty standards which we consider as beautiful. So when you think about these beauty standards, one person says one thing, social psychologists say one thing, biologists say another thing. Okay, so let's see what the research papers say. So they say that when you have ideal ratios, we call them golden ratios on your face. So for an example, your upper lip is, the lower lip is 1.6 times of your upper lip. So that's a golden ratio. And distance between your eyes are 40% of your total width of your face. That is a golden ratio. So mathematicians say that that is the ideal beauty standards. So when it comes to biology, they say, evolutionary biologists say that, no, you should have high cheekbones, you should have sharp jaw lines. Because they say that there's something really nice that evolutionary biologists say. They say that beauty is the genetic advertisement to detect good genes. So beauty is genetic advertisement because you can detect good genes and you can pass your genes on. So that is what biologists say, that we have our own perceptions as well. So if you go through different eras in your history, in our history, world history, you will find there's no mathematics, there's no biology involved in these beauty standards. For an example, there was this neck rings used in Myanmar and food binding in China. Where is the mathematics? Where is the biology? Nothing. So if you can build up a culture, if you can make a story behind it, you can make it a beauty standard. That's what has happened nowadays. And if you put loads of stories, you reels, you post these things, and then you can make a beauty standard. So these days, is the chin fillers, lip fillers, and Botox. These are the beauty standards today. So to be honest, there's no real beauty standards. It's all cultural. It differs by the culture, and it can change with the economics, and it can change with the business. So these days is a business. Beauty is a business. So to tell you now that the business world is monetizing you carefully, and whenever you scroll through, that what you see is that curated perfections, standards made by algorithms and filtered images. So you think this is a beauty standard. So that is what is happening. So ideally, the gross answer is no beauty standards. They all are made up.
So, Doctor, now, you see, like you said, on social media, you see a lot of perfect smiles. You see a lot of perfect skin as such. So, in your experience, who generally is more concerned about their general beauty? Is it men or women, and why?
Okay. Generally, it's female, but men's are not excluded. And mainly young people, but nowadays we see more trends with the Gen Zs and even the Gen Alphas, okay? So they are coming down. Now if you see the media, that you will see 14-year-olds advocating on anti-aging. So what anti-aging for them? But still, because of this propaganda, now you see how the brain hacking is done. So it's men, female, I don't think there's a difference, but everybody is into this system now.
I think that's a great answer. Now, Dr. Dulini answered about the facial symmetry, the golden ratio as such, right? I want to ask you the same question, doctor. In the world of dentistry, is a Hollywood smile considered purely aesthetic, or does it have a functional dental prerequisite? Does it have, okay, you have to have 32 teeth? Does it have a perfect definition, or how does that work?
Not really. In dentistry, no one considers function to be a component of this Hollywood smile. It's purely aesthetic. But as dentist, what we know is no aesthetics can be delivered in a patient with a poor oral hygiene, poor oral health. Right? So the foundation, the basic foundation for an aesthetic smile is having a good oral hygiene. Right? I wouldn't even touch a patient without without adequate oral hygiene for a smile makeover. It is no go. And also, I mean, sometimes what we have to understand is, what is the end point? After achieving these smile makeovers, achieving these great smiles, if the set of teeth is not functional, I have seen enough patients. You can't eat anything. The whole set of teeth is sensitive, right? So what's the purpose of these aesthetic smile makeovers? So it's a big, huge area of a discussion, but still, I would say having an aesthetic smile is good, but the solid foundation of oral hygiene, that's health, and also the functionality, we should make sure that as professionals, we should make sure that the patient ends up having a functional set of teeth as well. So that is the basics. Without them, aesthetics alone will not suffice.
Now, I want to inform the audience that whatever question you have, you can definitely pose to the doctors and get answers based on your general oral hygiene, because necessarily, yes, we will be covering the basics of hygiene, but still, if you have much more specific answers that you have questions about, definitely you can come and ask our doctors. Now, doctor, building up on what you said, cosmetic enhancers versus necessary dental care, where would you draw the line?
Necessary dental care is for everyone. But the million-dollar question is, who needs smile makeovers? Who needs Hollywood kind of smiles? Now that, we will touch on that. Now, any person can have defects in their teeth shape, the alignment, and the color. So if you have a significant defect, significant compromise in any of those aspects, color, shape, or alignment, then of course, you are a candidate to have a smile makeover.
Yes.
Right? So, doing a smile makeover or a full mouth reconstruction in such a patient, I wouldn't mind doing it because it is worth. The question that one has to ask from yourself is, after doing this smile makeover, what is the difference that it is going to make to my life? Will it boost my confidence? Will it add a positivity to my personality? So if it does, then go for it. That's the line, right? Because anyone would like to get it done, but there's a set of complications associated with all this treatment. We can talk about them. So the first question one has to ask, we should not get carried away by the images that you see on the screens, whether it is cinematic screen or the small mobile phone that we carry. We should not get carried away with those smiles, but we should ask ourselves, all right, we may have now as an example, in my case, I have a small gap between my two central incisors. No, I'm not going to get anything done for that. No way. But there are patients who would do anything to get it done. So that is very subjective. All right? No one can deny if the patient says, doctor, I really need to get this thing done. No one can say, okay, no. You don't need that, because it is the patient's need. But as professionals, we should be able to educate them. We should be able to give them the necessary information, the pros and cons associated with all these treatment options. We can talk about these treatment options as well. Because to get a certain limited improvement, you need not to get these Hollywood treatment options as well. Because all these Hollywood treatment options, they will show you the pre-operative photograph and the post-operative photograph. But the photograph they don't show you is the middle one. They don't show it. The damage that is done to the sound tooth material, you are not going to recover it again. All right? So that is where the real professionals will have to come into play. Because this is a $1 million business. A lot of money associated with. If you are going to get carried away with money as a professional, then of course your patients, I have to say, we have seen. Even last week, I saw a patient from Ukraine, a 22-year-old girl, very beautiful girl, came to get married in Sri Lanka. She was in Allah. She had, she got dislodged one of her veneers, placed 1 month back. She got done 14 or 16 veneers at the age of 22. How long does a veneer going to last? Maximum, the best done veneer with the, if you take care of them to the best of your ability, 15 years. So by the age of 37, she is going to end up with a lot of dental issues. And the next treatment option would be placing dental implants. So are you ready? That's the problem.
Are you ready for all of that pain? I think that's a great point that you brought up, Doctor. Now, we see a lot of reels and a lot of social media associated problems when it comes to beauty. Dr. Dulini, how much of our perception is shaped by media, especially if you take the common platforms like, say, Snapchat to Instagram? You have a lot of filters, right? And because of these filters, some of these filters are very realistic. You can't really see that you put on a filter, but when you meet them in real life, you can see as is. So how much of our perception is shaped by media, filters, commercials, and generally beauty standards over the actual need for skin health?
I would say a lot affected by these beauty standards given by the media. But to be honest, this beauty and everything is not something new to us, okay? So it is coming with the generations and generations and the history and everywhere. If you look at the history, there were that people doing the various things for the beauty. For example, it's that we were, like I read somewhere that Cleopatra, she bathed donkey milk to keep her beauty everlasting. So she needed 700 donkeys per day to get the milk she wants. So that beauty thing is going to generations. But now the things are evolving and we can't chase away everything. So I don't think that social media and this marketing, we have to chase away. Because the science is evolving, technology is developing, new chemicals coming up, and the skills are developing. So we can embrace them to such an extent, for a limited extent, carefully, okay? So, but I think it's worth a discussion, because rather than pretending the world is going in a very fine and dandy way, it's worth discussing what is happening behind the backstage, okay? So if you pull the curtains back, that you will see these people, those are marketing all these creams and the influencers, celebrities, sometimes they don't know anything about the creams and the anti-aging the techniques or anything. They just go there for a job. Like for the influencers, it's not like for you and me. They get paid for those things. They get normal free procedures done. So for them, it's just a job going and screening themselves. But the normal people, it's different. They spend their money, they spend their time, energy, finally maybe mental and physical health too. So that this media, I just want to tell our people that it's not the truth always said in the media. You have to be very careful selecting them. Because all this marketing, this, as you said, now the because of these trending anti-aging and these skincare industries. They are billion-dollar industries. And now what they don't tell you is, what they market is, they say that one magic cream, one overnight procedure can cure all of your problems in the skin, can lift your face like magic, but it doesn't happen. In reality, it's not the truth. So that we have to be careful what is to get from them and what is not to. So I'm just telling, whatever you do, be careful. And it's not always the real pictures, it's the filtered images, censored. And you have to be very careful when you grab those things, because it's our the future generation who's getting this hacking of the brains from the marketeers.
I'm going to be...
If I am to add a little bit to that social media thing, now I don't think in this era, no one can evade social media. It's the reality. So what I believe is, as professional Dulini, we should use the same platform to get the correct information to the public as well. What I see in our professions especially, right, medical and dental professions, the professionals keep quiet, all right, and the funny people play the havoc. So it shouldn't be the case, because this platform is open to everyone. Okay? So why can't we use the same platform to get the correct information to the public? That is what we do right now as well, right? So, I don't think there's any point in blaming the social media, because that's the reality. All of us are in social media. All of us get, maybe I'm not going to get carried away with an advertisement of nice teeth, but about a nice vehicle. All right? So it's like that. So we should face the reality, and as professionals, we should try to get the correct information to the general public through the very same platform that could be influencing their decisions.
I think, thank you for that, Doctor. Something quite interesting for the professionals who are in this space as well, to use the available tools to spread the correct information. Yes, social media is a common platform that everybody can use. It's free to access. If it's free, you are the product generally. That's why we see a lot of advertisements. So yes, that's a great point that he brought up. Professionals should step up, use the platforms that are available, and spread information. Now, Doctor, now when it comes to dentistry plus skin, I believe prevention is definitely better than cure, right? Obviously, prevention is better than cure. So doesn't that where the skincare products plus everything in between, I'm not talking about medicine, I'm talking about the skincare or the necessary day-to-day you use these products, but doesn't that where prevention comes in? So you go to a doctor when you have a problem, right? But you don't go to a problem to ask how to brush your teeth. So that's done by a certain product or whatever you use to clean your teeth. So how would you answer that?
I think prevention in dentistry is more obvious, but I haven't seen any information when it comes to skin. So why don't we get an input from Dulini? Because even I am interested.
So prevention from the skin side, that's a very versatile topic, I would say, because with the skin, it's not only about the skin color. So you have different other things also. So when you talk about prevention, this thing comes up, there's sun damage, okay? So obviously when you talk about sun damage, that you have different problems with the sun. One thing is pigmentation. The other thing, because in our skin, brown skin, it's very vulnerable to pigmentation. So we have to always be careful about the sun damage. Not that you hide from the sun, but at least you have to protect it, okay? So the sun damage is something you can prevent. And so for that, I would advocate on starting a sunscreen, okay? So you can apply a sunscreen and do a general skincare. That is one prevention side. The other thing is, if you get a skin problem, take medicine as early as possible so that the complications will be less. So that is the second one. The other thing, prevention side, let me think about it. What else? Okay. The main part comes with not with the skincare, but it's with the internal care. Okay. So it is beauty from inside out. If you want to have a good skin, if you want to have good hair, nails, then it should be within, not from the outside. How much products you put on, that it doesn't matter, but if you are bad in inside, your skin going to be ruined, okay? So I always prescribe good food, nutrition, exercise, mental health, and good sleep. So that is part of my prescription for any patient who comes with asking me for good health, good glowing skin, okay? I said, if you don't cut on your sugars, don't mind about your skincare, go and practice that first, okay? So that is the best prevention, I guess, when it comes to skincare. Nourishing your body from inside out. Then you can do the things from the outside. Sunscreens and moisturizers, whatever the vitamin C is, retinol, they come later once you do your basic homework.
I think that's a great answer. I'm going to build up on that. We were going to come to this, which is, should every person, regardless of age or gender, have a daily skincare routine? Now, we see a lot of females using a lot of products on a day-to-day basis for them, but I don't know, for me, example, not really a skincare type of person. Yes, I brush my teeth, but not really a skincare person. But does that really affect the skin in terms of, for Sri Lankan men, right? Sri Lankan men, we don't really consider, I don't know about Dr. Lakmal, but if you use skincare on a general basis, but is that... For men, is skincare required? Plus, do they need to have a daily skincare routine?
Yes, Sonal, you do need a skincare. You can start putting a sunscreen from today itself, because we are in a country, we are near the equator, so that we get a lot of sun rays. So we get the UV rays directly on our skin. And what these UV rays does, that they do go and penetrate your skin, cause DNA damage, and the mutations, so that you can get some chance of skin cancer, and above all, the pigmentations, as I said, and those aging skin like fine lines, wrinkles, so on. Actually, we are very lucky that we have this brown skin, because our skin is shielded by this melanin, so that we don't have much skin cancer as compared to our Caucasian counterpart. Okay, so that we are very lucky. That's why I'm always advocating on our brown skin not to get all these whitening products on. So brown skin protects you from sun, but still we get damage. So as a male, be it a female, it's better to have a sunscreen. And the age limit is a problem that I get a lot of parents come in and ask me, doctor, do you recommend my child a sunscreen? So that's a very problematic question. Because personally, I don't apply sunscreen to my daughter, who's a 10-year-old, because I don't want her to have a lot of chemicals in. Unless she goes and plays for a long time in the sun, or they're going to swimming and put 2 to 3 hours, I don't want her to get all these chemicals on. But if your child is really fair skin and whether he or she is very sensitive to the sun, you can apply a sunscreen to your children also. But for an adult, as a dermatologist, in my point of view, yes, sunscreen is something that is nice to have. That when it comes to Lakmal territory, that brushing your teeth 2 times a day is a must, isn't it? Is it?
At least once.
Okay, so in my case, there's no musts, okay? It's always something good to have or nice to have. So if you're really concerned about your skin aging, pigmentation, it's always better to have a sunscreen in the morning before you go out. And we ask them to repeat it in about 4 hours, because the sunscreen doesn't last too long. So that about I usually say around 7 you apply the sunscreen before you go out, then about in 12 o'clock. So you have protection from the sun. So at your age, supposing you're not that old, so you even at your stage, you can start on putting a sunscreen so that you have the prevention. And when you grow older like us, that you're not like me, no, not Lakma is not that old. Okay, so when it comes to our age, that you will have less wrinkles and your sun is protected. Okay, so that sunscreen is something. And when you talk about skincare routines, Sonal, we talk about something called skin minimalism. Minimalism is we try to avoid too much products, but we keep it very simple. So in the minimalism practice, what we do is we put a skin sunscreen and you can put a moisturizer. That's all. Keep it simple. When it is simple, you tend to practice this more, no? Rather than complicating it. So moisturizer and sunscreen, that would go good with your skin. And if you want later on, you can add all these vitamin C's, retinols, that is complementary. So you can start with basics, and when you go on, you can start on other regimes.
I think that's a great point where you bring in, you mix and match certain things which will suit your skin. And I was, especially living in a country like Sri Lanka, right? You get a lot of sun. Definitely you need the sunscreen. At the same time, for people who spend a lot of time in boardrooms, AC, air conditioning can be a problem where what AC generally does is it dries up your skin, right? So do you recommend, even for people who spend a lot of time in boardrooms to air-conditioned, air-con rooms, do you recommend using moisturizers?
Of course, a moisturizer doesn't matter where you are. The sunscreen, I would come to that part because people ask us, is it okay? Do you really need to apply a sunscreen when you are indoor? So the indoor, now what we know about this sun damage or the UV damage is it's not just the bare sun rays comes from the sun. It's not just the UVA and UVB. So the visible lights surrounding us, that is a blue light mainly, which comes with the lights and the laptops and the screens. They also have the ability to damage your skin and induce pigmentation. So somebody who's inside a house or an office place with a laptop open, screens using all the time, I would recommend to use a sunscreen. Moisturizer, no doubt. Anybody at any time, you can use a moisturizer if you feel like your skin is dry and if you need a hydration.
Right. Dr. Lakmal, veneers, braces, aligners, crowns. When would you recommend these, genuinely recommend these procedures for a patient? Because there are people who do those procedures just for the sake of doing it, plus they think that they need it. So when do you recommend they do that?
Yeah. Veneers, crowns, I mean, they try to, they are helpful in improving one's teeth shape, color, and the alignment as well. So if you have a significant compromise, significant issue in those three respects, color, shape, and alignment, then of course dentists tend to offer this treatment. So I mean, if I am to explain a bit, veneer is a thin shell. It's like a contact lens that is put onto the eye. It's something like a very thin shell of ceramic that is put, that is cemented on the front of the teeth. But still, even to place a veneer, we need to shave off the front aspect of the teeth to a certain degree. Now, we used to shave a lot on the front aspect with the older ceramics, but with the newer ceramics, I mean, there are now, we practice what is known as non-prep veneers. That means we don't prepare the teeth at all. But still, that technology is improving, right? So still, you will need a little bit of shaving off to get veneers in. Crown is different from a veneer. It actually, it's a cap to, it fully covers the tooth. So it would need drastic reduction, drastic shaving off of your natural teeth to get crowns in, all right? But with these two treatment options, you really can get nice ceramic onto your teeth and improve your smile, improve the color and the shape of the teeth. But the problem is, of course, there's a financial cost, all right? You have to pay. But there's a biological cost to this as well. So are you ready to pay the biological cost associated with these treatments? So we have to be very careful. Now, if a 20-year-old girl comes to me and asks for veneers, I wouldn't do. Because the biological cost she has to pay and the cost ultimately she has to pay financially to manage the complication at the age of 35. I can't justify that. So there's a call for both the practitioner, the professional, and also the patient. So am I going to get this quick smile makeover just for what? That's the thing. So we have to ask from ourselves, is this compromise worth? All right. All these things are accepted treatment options. But still, to get anything done, there can be a great way, there can be a good way, and there can be pathetic way. Now, I will just give you the rough cost that is associated with the smile makeovers. To get a nice smile, you would need at least 12 veneers or crowns. If you are going to get it done that in the UK, it would cost you like 4 to 6 million Sri Lankan rupees, right? If you are going to get that in the Turkey, it would cost 1 to 1.2 million Sri Lankan rupees. And in Sri Lanka, if you are going to get it done in a reasonably good place, it would cost the same. But there are people who would provide you so-called veneers for like 200,000 Sri Lankan rupees. That's the problem. And the unfortunate thing, Sonal, is these people do the treatment, even they are not scared to publish the very same pathetic treatment in Facebook as well. All right? So there's a huge problem associated with this thing. So if you are going to get these smile makeovers done, research, read about it, get the knowledge, and if you really want to invest do this investment. If you are going to invest on these smile makeovers, get it done from a proper place. Get a second opinion. So that is actually what I have to say about the crowns and veneers.
I think, once again, a great point. There lies a greater responsibility in the practitioner, because the patient is just a patient, whereas the practitioner understands the patient plus they understand the subject. So they know what sort of pain that the patient has to go through if he or she goes through a certain process. So he or she has to weigh the pros and cons and then perform the surgery according to you. Great answer. And also avoid scams, I guess. Also,
because, we know, it's a common knowledge, some dental technicians practice as dentists in this country. They practice these treatments. Unfortunate reality is, now, this is the problem, Sonal. Now, even if I say this, how many patients in Sri Lanka can afford 1 to 1.5 million Sri Lankan rupees for a smile makeover? Not that many, right? So when the necessity overrides it will override all these science and everything, they will find some quack and get it done. All right? So if he or she is fortunate, maximum they will go up to 5 years. Thereafter, they are with us to manage the complications.
so how do you suggest you practically solve the problem, doctor? Now, yes, we understand the problem. Cheaper options can bring you better results. How do you practically approach this problem? Now, this can be directed to Dr. Dulini as well, because different industries, but the same thing happens in her industry as well. There are practitioners who say they do a good job for a lower price, but it doesn't really translate into a good job in the long term, right? So how do you solve this problem?
Honestly speaking, Sonal, I don't think no one can solve this. Because when there's a demand for a lower treatment options, obviously there will be someone providing it. All right? So, unless the regulatory mechanisms come to play severely, I don't think that can be solved. But even in the UK, I have seen such patients. Right? So, it's a universal phenomenon, because the patients who who are in need of these smile makeovers, the overriding necessity to get a beautiful so-called Hollywood smile. All right. So when that comes to play, all the other factors go off. අර කියන්නේ අර මේ මොකක්ද විචාර බුද්ධිය පස්සදොරෙන් පැනලා යනවා කියලා. That is what has happened.
All right. Thank you for that, doctor. And we talked about this, Dr. Dulini. We talked about brown skin, but there are still girls in Sri Lanka who do not love their skin, the brown skin that they've been blessed with. So, is brown or darker skin a flaw? And depending on your answer, how do you emphasize your own self?
Okay. Definitely a big no. Is it a flaw? No. That is the big answer. Because as I said, the whole point of our brown skin is to protect us. That is the armor that protects us from these UV rays. So that is the advantage we have with our brown skin, and many more to go. I'll tell you in the go. So if it is a flaw, no, obviously no. But as you bring up that everybody is embarking on white skin, whitening creams, injections. So we should talk about this. And to be honest, now why do we get brown skin? Because we are in the equator and melanin is more. So now we have the brown skin and all the 50 shades of brown. Why is that? Because we have the invaders, we have the colonizers, we have the migrations, and everything together that we have these shadings of the brown. So it is that how did this colorism come into our minds? It said when we were in India and so-called Asian countries, how did it come? They said that British made an hierarchy that they engraved in our minds that white is the best, and they gave positions and everything according to the skin color. So that was one big problem those days. But the thing is, they left. They are not anymore here, but still we are embarking on this white skin, okay? So where does this happen? Actually, this recent epidemic of this white skin came, to my knowledge, in 1970s when a so-called company launched a product called, I won't mind saying the name, Fair and Lovely. And if you see carefully, these products are marketed in a way that they have the power to change your life, okay? So they say as you can find a better partner, you can find a better job, and you can find you will be more noticed with this white skin. So it was a very ingenious marketing model. They knew that it will grow for another century or so. They were right. Now it's a $10 billion industry, whitening cream business. So they engraved so much of colorism into our minds. Okay? So it is there. Now, everything is very downbeat. Everybody is embarking on whitening creams and injections. But in the recent past, the people who come up and say the brown skin is nice, embrace your color, the loudest noises I hear. I see them, some songs making up like cinnamon skin, there was a nice song, and then caramel skin or something, and so on, musicals coming up. And we need to keep this repeating. Yeah, we need to make more songs on cinnamon color, because this is our skin, which is really beautiful. To be honest, when girls come and ask me, doctor, I want to be white or fair or whatever. I said, no, maintain your color. You are beautiful, brown is beautiful. See, I have all the access to all the injections and all, but I'm not changing my color. Because it is the beauty in you. It's not just being a white color. It doesn't mean that if you are just like a wall that you are beautiful. There are more things to adapt to your beauty. So maintain your skin in an even and healthy way. That is the best way to be beautiful. And the other thing I tell is, maintain your color. When you come to your 40s, you will thank me. Because our color, our brown skin doesn't age. If you see the counterpart of your Caucasians at our age, 40s, that they are full of wrinkles. So we don't have that because we are beautiful with this brown skin. We don't need actually those kind of anti-aging treatments so on too much.
I can understand the dire need to be fair. All right, that is marketed. That we can understand. But I don't understand this newer trend to be white. So, I mean, I don't know, is that white beautiful? That's the problem.
Exactly. That's my most disheartening problem is that because these days it's not the dark girls or the brown girls coming and asking for to be fair. It's the fair girls coming and asking to be more fair or white. So you can see how much of colorism is ingrained in our minds, and it's not totally the colonization, it's not all the fair and lovely, it's just the image, the censored images, filtered images, all these images made by the social media. And I think now there's a trend, Lakmal, that there's some trend towards this, that wall whitening, it's not the trend. So now people are coming up with, especially those Gen Zs are coming up with their brown skin beauty. So that's a problem actually. So you can see how much of how much we have to combat with this colorism. There's a lot of things to dismantle and heal. This will go on to another few generations, but until that, our kids have to suffer with this colorism, isn't it?
I think, Dr. Dilni, in my personal opinion, people who are generally white tries to go and do surgeries become more Sudu Mali than Sudu, right? Because this is something that I see on a general basis. I personally know people as well. They try to enhance their skin and they end up Sudu Mali. They end up very pale looking rather than looking quite what they want themselves to look like, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So now we talked the politics around it. We talked about the expectations that everyone has and how not to jump in the bandwagon and just say, I want to be white. No, embrace your own skin. We talked about all of that. So we are at an education exhibition, which is EDEX Expo. Now this place is filled with students who completed their higher school education, looking for higher studies or for a job, right? We have the parents. Specifically, sometimes parents' influence can also be there, but that's not in discussion today. But still, in Sri Lanka and globally, do you see the pressure for perfect teeth, Dr. Lakmal? Specifically when you go for job interviews, or career-wise, or in social media, do you see pressure for perfect teeth?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that has been there. Right? In certain professions, of course, it's quite normal to see that they expect their employees to have a not perfect, I would say, but a reasonably aligned teeth, and also without a significant color change. I mean, if you take the airline industry, banking industries, so big corporates, so there is that, I don't know whether they have a rule, but there is, I mean, many people are coming just before the interview to get a quick smile makeover. I mean, yeah, there are ways to do that. I mean, the thing that we have to discuss here is, Sonal, that if you want to change little things, if you want to get a quick smile makeover, there are conservative, non-invasive ways of doing that as well. You don't have to get these drastic, invasive, damaging, horrendous dental treatments, I would say. There are invasive ways, but the problem is these, the general public are not that, maybe some professionals also, they're not aware of these non-invasive treatment options, because that is very easy. Cutting the teeth and fixing a crown is easy, because any idiot can do that. That's the problem, right? So, but doing something conservative, looking after the patient's own tissues, it is not that easy, but that is the path we have to take. All right? I mean, if I am answering your question, yes, in certain fields, there is that pressure to have a beautiful smile, at least a reasonable smile when they get them to employees.
Yes. So, fair point. Yes. And yes, there is pressure. Now, you said there are non-invasive, conservative ways to do that. Could you explain to the audience, doctor, how that works? What needs to be done, specifically if a student or a person who is going for a job interview is want to fix themselves, and what sort of advice plus procedures would you advise them to take?
First thing I would ask any of my patients to get their oral hygiene sorted out. All right? Get a regular teeth cleanup done. Get a hygiene session. Improve your own oral hygiene measures by doing that, and also cut down coffee, cut down smoking, cut down all these stain causing food and drinks, right? So those things we can do, right? It's very easy things to do. And when you do that, you will anyway achieve a reasonably healthy dentition. But if you really want to change the shade of the teeth, that is the color of the teeth, there are bleaching techniques which are very conservative, very safe to practice, and there are now newer laser techniques to improve the shade, color of the teeth. So they are, but bit expensive, but still they wouldn't damage your teeth. All right, they would just change the color, and it can be done very quickly as well. A lot of patients are coming from abroad to get these laser whitening treatments. So, I mean, there are such treatment options which are not going to damage your teeth, at the same time improve the color and improve the, maybe if you are in low in confidence because of the color of your teeth, that can be sorted out very easily. And also the alignment issues, that means the teeth are not positioned in a uniform manner. So these kind of issues, we used to treat them with braces. But many people don't like to get braces because it's a real hazard. Unless you get them done in a very young age where you have to do it because your parent is asking you to do.
Yeah.
I mean, not that many people of 20s would like to have braces. But now there's a newer treatment option called aligners, which are clear set of trays that are inserted to mouth, then they can move the teeth. All right. So with minimum hassle to your day-to-day life, we can move the teeth and get them properly aligned. So, right. So now aligners and bleaching techniques actually have taken over these cosmetic dentistry field, and it's becoming very popular as well. I'm a strong supporter of those treatment options because they don't damage your teeth. But still, providing aligners by a non-experienced professional, because it involves a lot of orthodontic knowledge. All right. So when a patient with inadequate knowledge on orthodontics do this, we have seen enough cases, you end up having a lot of issues than what you had before. All right. So we are coming to the same point again and again. When you are choosing your dentist, choose a dentist who will look at you like the way he looks at his own daughter or the mother. So that is what I always ask my patient to do, right? Because some dentists I know, they would never treat their own kid. They would never treat their own mother. Why? If you are that good. There's a question.
Fundamental problem right there. I want to extend the question to you as well, Dr. Dulini. Whenever you present yourself, say it's a job interview or even a place like this, you come to a public place, it's good to be pleasant in nature, right? You want to look good. So how can you practically achieve that? What sort of things do you have to do in terms of your skin to achieve that?
Yes, Sonal, that's a good question actually. That we are forced to think that beauty or attractiveness or pleasantness is just skin color and your face. That is what we are forced to think. The beauty is just your skin color or the face, symmetry or the lips or the likewise. Okay, so but attractiveness is not about your beauty. It's about how you perceive yourself. It's about how confident you are. How is your personality? So I tell people, develop your personality, be confident. Actually, I came across this wonderful study from Stanford University recently, that what it says is, the way that you think about yourself, if you think you are attractive, the way that you think you are attractive changes the way you move in the society. That means you are who you think, isn't it? So think, even if you are not attractive, even if you are not confident, think you are confident. So what your brain chemistry does is that it makes some chemicals, hormones to suit your personality. So you think you're confident, you think your personality is such a great personality, it becomes you, okay? So what you have to do is be that confident personality. The other thing is, beauty is not all about your appearance. It's the way that you talk to the other people. It's how you treat the other people, how you treat animals and how you treat nature too, isn't it, Lakman? So it's about your manners, your decency. So all these things matters. So it's not just about your skin color or your face. The other thing is, it's about how you present yourself as you are, dress well. Have you heard about enclothed cognition? So now, enclothed cognition means when you dress well, that you think about yourself in a higher perspective, then that adds to the others also to think about you in that way. And then here comes the halo effect. Halo effect is, if somebody thinks you are good in something, then they assume that you are good in other things also. So that, for an example, I dress well and come with a white coat, and you think now I dressed well, so I'm skilled in my profession. Likewise, there are so many tricks and tips that you can get to be attractive and a pleasant personality. And finally, I would say, be confident, have a fit and healthy body. That matters most rather than your skin color. Eat well, nourish your brain and body both, nourish your mental health, and exercise. And what else? Meditate. Those are the things that you can to be a pleasant person. After all, like, be confident, stand tall, roll back your shoulders, chip the height, what do you say? You can even, by standing tall and standing straight, you can even affect the jawline also, the way that you present yourself. So these are the tips to be attractive rather than just going and get exhausted on your skin color and your face.
Well, wow. Thank you for that all-round answer, Dr. Dulni. I think also having that placebo effect helps, right? Thinking that I can achieve things, I look good. Having that confidence helps you in a lot of social situations, wherever you go, even when you meet new people. And it just helps, right? And people thinking that really happens. People thinking that you can do a lot of things because you dress well, you talk well, that happens. It can be a double-edged sword also.
And also one thing, it attracts right people to you as well. It is important. I strongly believe that. So the way you present yourself to the society, it attracts the people of the same vibe. So we are ultimately we will be defined by the people we associate. All right. So if you are always associate with all these people, okay, that sudu wenna mona hari ganna ona, that එක සුදු කර ගන්න ඕන, like that, that's kind of carries a whole negative vibe to you. All right. So I mean, I completely agree with what she said. Right. The internally, I mean, not necessarily related to teeth, but the beauty, because අපිත් අන්තිමට මිනිස්සු ලස්සන කරන එකනේ කරන්නේ. ඉතින් මම හැමතිස්සෙම මමත් දකින්න දෙයක් තමයි අර අභ්‍යන්තරිකව සන්තෝෂෙන් ඉන්න මිනිස්සු ලස්සනයි. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ පොඩි ග්ලෝ එකක් තියෙනවා. මම ඒක මන් දන්නේ මොකක්ද සයන්ස් එක කියලා, but මේ මම දත් දොස්තර කෙනෙක් හැටියට මම දකින්න දෙනවා මේ කියන්නේ. So it's important, and I completely agree with Dulni on that.
At the last thing, I can add up to the glow part, because you know, when you meditate, when you are in the calmer mind, you have a calm mind, that your antioxidants in your body is more. So antioxidants is the one which neutralize free radicals, the bad things which produces in your body. So when you meditate, when you are relaxed and you are always with the good feelings and happy, your antioxidants in the body is high, and it adds up to your glow.
There we go, the explanation. So one final question to both of you, because we're going to open the discussion for a Q&A for the people who really want their skin and dental questions answered. How can people balance appearance desires? Because this panel discussion has been about ideal appearance and Hollywood smiles. Yes, there needs to be some sort of a presentable nature of you, but that doesn't have to be perfect. That is the takeaway today. So how can people balance appearance desires with healthy dental practice and healthy skincare practice? You can, both of you can, how do you balance it between the appearance desires and the healthy aspect of it?
First thing, Sonal, have a healthy set of teeth. If I'm to talk about teeth, have a healthy set of teeth, have a healthy mouth. That's the first thing. That's a good foundation to think of aesthetic makeovers, smile makeovers. But what I have seen is when a person has a healthy mouth, healthy set of teeth, invariably he is less susceptible to seek for all these alternative measures to get this Hollywood kind of smile makeovers, unless it is, related to some other significant event, like, a job requirement or something like that. So stick to health, stick to functionality, and if you really need to get something improved, go to a proper place and get it done. That's my advice if I am to wind up this session.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Dilli.
What was your question? Come
So
again, please.
basically, I'm asking how can people balance appearance desires? So people have this perception, okay, I want to look like this. While having that, how can you balance the healthy aspect of it as well?
Actually, in my case, if you are healthy, automatically you look good. The simple answer is if you are healthy, if you nourish your body, as I mentioned earlier, good food, good nutrition, and exercise, meditation, sleep. If you have these 4 pillars of the fundamental health, then there's nothing much you have to do outside. Just a simple routine, skincare routine would be enough.
Lovely. I think we can sum up the conversation with that great insight. But before that, we are opening up the panel for Q&A. Sama saha dat කියන දේවල් දෙක ගැන ඇත්තටම තමුන්ට අද මෙතනින් අහන් යන්න තියෙනවා නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න අපේ රොයල් එකේ ඕගනයිසිං කමිටි එක ඉන්නවා.
So I think it's a common question regarding dentistry. So like doctor, you discuss about braces. Like let's say now it's quite expensive in Sri Lankan context also. Is there, like, let's say not all people, elder generation like 60, 65-year-olds, is it practical or worth having braces? Let's say like, because I've heard like in UK, like in NHS, like they don't facilitate that kind of dental care because it's from NHS. But is there an age limit? Like, let's say, yeah, braces.
No, there's no age limit for braces. It's because, that's why I even said before, the aesthetic need is very subjective. All right? What is not that important to me may be very important to some other person. So we have to, as professionals, we have to respect patients' need. So, but when it comes to braces, there's no age limit, but it is easier for the orthodontist to do tooth movements in a growing child. So, starting from 11 up until 14, 15, that's the best period where the bones are growing. So the same growth can be utilized to move teeth as well. So that's the best period. But there's no age limit. We can do orthodontics in any age.
This question is for Dr. Dulini. When we are, so the social media has become a key communication tool in this era. And when we are surfing, we see a lot of commercials, promotions going with regards to enhancing your beauty and changing your color, all these things from a lot of unprofessional and unethical sources. So is there any message would you like to give, Dr. Dulini, to the society? So when they are selecting or when they are choosing their products or consultations for the best of the society?
Especially if you are choosing a doctor, it's better to go for a consultant. Consultant dermatologists mean we have the degree, MD degree, which is certified by the medical council. So I would say that is the best place to go. So the other thing is the products. These days the products in the market, no guarantee that there are no certifications. Although you see some kind of certification, they are more or less fake. So ideally what you have to do is go to a good doctor, dermatologist or a consultant dermatologist, and ask for the valid products. That's it. Because I don't see any other way that we can combat this problem.
Well, I think it sums up the questions aspect of it, but literal gems uncovered, because there are lots and lots and lots of myths specifically in the dentistry scene and also the skincare industry as well. So heartiest thanks to both of you for joining us this evening for the conversation, Dr. Dulini, Dr. Lakmal. I believe the conversation was interesting for you. It was definitely for me, and our audience did get something today. And like you said, whatever we do at the end of the day reflects on us. And like you said, whatever we eat, drink, put in our body and put on our body reflects back like that as well. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us this evening. If you do have any final remarks, one final message to give out to the general public, this is the time. You said everything you have to say. But yeah, okay then. Yeah, thank you very much, doctors, once again for joining with us. Thank you for the questions.
And also thank you, EDEX, for inviting us. And it was an honor and privilege to be on this stage. So I think we have done justice to your request.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, doctors. Thank you, EDEX, Royal College Old Boys Union, for inviting us and the doctors. And with that, we wind up all of the segments, all of the panels due for EDEX Expert Symposium 2026. Once again, thank you everyone for joining with us and supporting this magnificent event and occasion. We wish all of you all the very best, and to have yourselves a pleasant day and a wonderful 2026 as well. Have a good day.